can make fun of him a little bit.
That's fair.
We for considering that he's a Packers versus Cowboys, like, kind of pseudo rivalry there.
Yeah.
We've said pretty nice things about Dak Prescott.
True.
Anyways, that's not what we're here to do. We're here to talk about the Green Bay Packers. Welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Tuesday evening. Today we are recapping the Packers win over the Bears on Sunday afternoon, and then previewing another Sunday afternoon matchup against the Broncos in Denver. So we're going to hit the intro and start the recap.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, so jumping into our Packers-Bears recap, we are going to start with the pass rush.
Yeah, so talking pass rush, really not much to talk about. One big-time sack, which was forced by who else other than Micah Parsons, with some good pressure, quick good pressure, made Williams step up, and Enigbare just absolutely unloaded on him, dude. He got smashed on that hit. That was a crazy hit. But outside of that, really nothing to write home about. Ben Johnson did a nice job. I got to give him credit. He did a nice job keeping Caleb on the move, using play action, lots of bootlegs, lots of non-holding calls, but that's a discussion for a different day. They did a nice job with pressures, had 18 total pressures as a team. Parsons, I've seen 7. I've seen 8 in some areas. I did see that he has 78 pressures on the season now, which is a Packers single-season record. So the trade is already working out in our favor. Anybody that thinks that the Cowboys won that trade is just silly, in my opinion. It absolutely vaulted the Packers from a team like maybe they could be contenders to, yeah, this team is a Super Bowl contender. So I don't know where you'd rather be. Would you rather be looking forward to 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, or be looking forward to this year and still have 3, 4, 5 years from now to be really, really good?
He's just entering his prime.
I'd rather have Micah Parsons.
Yeah. Rashawn Gary was credited with 4. I still need a little bit more out of Rashawn Gary. I feel like the motor's not the same. Is really where I'm at.
Literally thinking that today.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna do something with him in the offseason, maybe like slim him down a bit or something.
Yeah,
right now he seems like a very like first and second down pass rusher.
I know Caleb's quick, but in the past you would see Rashawn Gary chase people down. He couldn't catch Caleb on that one play. I've been pretty disappointed with Gary the last several weeks. I can't remember his last sack, to be honest.
Yeah, seriously.
It's been a while.
And then we had Enigbare with 2 pressures. Bullard, Sorrell, Cooper, Nixon, and Evan Williams all had 1 each. Evan Williams got absolutely manhandled on his, and I'm not talking in a good way. I'm talking like a legal way. Evan Williams should have gotten a sack on that play. And Sorrell with a really good rep, beating 2 people, including the Bears' best offensive lineman, or probably not best. Joe Tooney's probably their best, but
Joe Tooney is probably the best.
Terrell Wright is probably their second best, I would say. He's probably their best tackle. But he absolutely dominated on their right side of their line, did a nice rep right there. So pass rush, I thought, did everything that they could. 18 pressures is a good number to get to, and having the 1 sack, it was a big-time sack. Got it on a first down and killed the drive, made it a 2nd and 19. So good stuff from the pass rush this week.
Yeah, real quick.
Registered sacks since Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and that's week 6 or 7.
8.
Right? 8? Okay.
Yep.
And my other thing is, you look at the snap counts. He's hardly even out snapping Enigbare at this point. Like, how is he? He just does not have the gas. I mean, you have Micah Parsons doing 61 out of 70 snaps, but then you have Gary doing, 39 or 41 or something like that?
Gary had 40, Enigbare had 39.
Yeah, like, we need a serious discussions. I mean, hopefully he can turn around and help us get to where we need to go this year, but we might have to have a serious discussion about what we want to do with him this next offseason.
Yeah. Jumping in on the defensive line, Carl Brooks made 1 huge tackle for loss on a trick play that the Bears tried to run. Took 6 yards away after a cheap flag gave the Bears another first down. There were plenty of plays where guys were held with no calls. They had 1 holding call early and then nothing for the rest of the game. I saw a stat today. Did you know that Micah Parsons has drawn 0 holding penalties all season?
Yeah, that's
I saw
wild.
that last night. Could not believe it.
He hasn't drawn a single one all season. That is wild to me. I mean, I'm going to pull it up just because I want to know exactly how many pass rush snaps so I can be pissed about it because it's going to annoy me as soon as I see it. But
Probably like 300 or something.
413 pass rush snaps and 0 holding penalties. He himself has been flagged 6 times, and he's drawn 0 penalties.
Yeah, one of them was that stupid hip drop tackle against the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
still
right.
haven't forgot about that.
I'm not mad at that, but the fact
It
that
happens every game and he gets flagged, that's crazy.
He's been flagged 6 times, but has not drawn a single one. Is ridiculous.
I'll say Matt LaFleur seemed to have he still didn't like straight up call him out, but by him saying I don't know what a hold is anymore. I feel to a certain degree he kind of was more pissed off about it, and he said it's a good point. Like they're probably letting it go the other way, but there's a couple of really egregious ones that they need to call.
Yeah,
like when I seen someone trying to say, well, he's doing a rip move, and by the rule of law, if his arm gets up along the face, that shouldn't be a hold. Even how hasn't he drawn an illegal
under the arm and pushing a guy's arm into his throat, where a guy's got his hand around his neck, and then there's another one where the guy's like grabbing around the outside of his shoulder pad, like you're supposed to be in between the shoulder pads.
Yeah, I can't believe
the shoulder pads. Like
even if he hasn't drawn a holding penalty, has he drawn any illegal hands to the face penalties? Because that happens a lot too.
I don't think so.
I think the thing that I saw was 0 penalties.
Yeah.
When you guys are talking for the rest of the defense, I'll look it up. But
I mean, I don't want to cry for penalties, but when they're super egregious and then it results in a huge play, like, come on.
Again, we're talking 667 total snaps that he's played.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me that guy hasn't drawn 1 penalty.
And I thought the rest to begin with were pretty bad on Sunday. Like the whole incomplete pass
stuff too.
The incomplete pass. I'm like, show me where it ever hits the ground.
We'll talk about that for sure when we get to like the secondary and some of the other stuff too. Back to the D line with Micah Parsons. He had 7 pressures. Like Jake said, it depends. Somewhere it says 8. Did have 0 sacks, but like Jake said, he did directly influence Kingsley Enagbari's sack, who was Enagbari tied for second on the team with 3 run stops also. And Caleb, to his credit, is very elusive. Like Jake said, Baron Sorrell generated a pressure. Should have also drawn a holding penalty. He had a guy grab him around the waist like they're getting ready to slow dance, and nothing called there either. And then there was one play that I saw from Colby Wooden where he did a good job breaking through the offensive line. He was just 2 gaps too far over for where the play was going. So it's one of those things where he's good at diagnosing plays, but just in the wrong spot at the right time, kind of something like we saw from Quay Walker a lot in his second year. So I'm far from wanting to give up on Colby Wooden or anything like that, but it would be obviously beneficial for the Packers to start seeing more growth towards the end of this season and not only hoping that it happens next season. All right, Simon, how'd you feel about the run defense?
I thought they started out super strong. I think it was kind of like a tale of 2 halves almost. In the first half, they carried the ball 13 times for 48 yards, which is really good, or less than 4 yards, 3.7 to be exact. And after halftime, and then once I guess they figured out the running game and our defense started getting gashed a little bit and they started getting tired, they ended up running the ball 19 times for 90 yards or a 4.7 yard average. Overall, they ran the ball 32 times for 138 yards or a 4.3 average, which is it's okay. And it was like that fourth quarter, they just converted like third down after third down after third down. And then, like I said, the defense ended up being tired and just allowing more and more. I will say credit to the Packers. They didn't allow a run over 9 yards all day. 9 yards was the Bears' longest run of the day after they just put up 270 yards on the Philadelphia Eagles. So credit to the defense. I thought Cooper played really well against the run. He had 3 stops. Walker had 2. I thought Parsons played the run defense pretty well as well. He also had 2. So all in all, for what I expected, this is probably about as good as it gets in general for how the Bears have been running the ball lately. I thought the Packers did a pretty good job of containing them for most of the day.
And to your point, like the tale of two halves thing, like that's how a lot of teams build their run games. Is they take their short runs in the first half, hoping to wear your defense down, and then break the gash. And gash for bigger runs in the second half. That's all a lot of teams are built.
Plus, it was 17 degrees out.
Like that's literally Derrick Henry's career path. Is just wearing the line down and then breaking through and running over in the second half. So I mean that's just kind of in my mind a mark of a good rushing team. Which, again, not to heap credit on our biggest rival, but that is something that the Bears do well.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at their average, they're averaging still 152 yards a game. Before that game, it was like in the higher 150s, so we held them below their average. Yep. And then as Simon pointed out, they ran the ball 32 times. They lead the league in explosive runs over 10 yards, and in 32 attempts, they didn't have a single one. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. All right, linebackers and tackling.
Yeah, so obviously, kind of like Simon was just talking about, the linebackers and tackling played a big role in holding. I still think we were pretty good against them because Caleb had to kind of complete some ridiculously good passes. He did show some stuff. I credit to them. I don't like their fan base. I do think their team is decent. I just think their fan base is unrealistic. That's why I harp on them so much. But overall, the linebackers I thought had a pretty solid game in the run game. They struggled a little bit with high completion allowed in the passing game, but a lot of these are little dump offs in front of them. Sometimes I do think they play too deep. I think the linebackers get too deep and play too deep, and I wish they would stop. But Cooper, as Simon talked about, Cooper had 11 tackles, 4 of which were run stops. He did add a pressure in a hurry. Quay Walker returned, which was nice, had 9 tackles and 3 run stops. McDuffie added another 6 tackles, only playing about half the snaps. But in coverage, linebackers allowed 11 for 15 for 89 yards. But really, that's only 5.9 yards per attempt. So all it is dump offs in front of them. I just feel like there's a couple times that they're just getting too deep, especially on short yardage, like 3rd and 5 and stuff. They should never be behind the sticks there, in my opinion. So hopefully they straighten that up a little bit. But overall, I mean, as a team, okay. One other thing I want to say is I thought the interior defensive line had a pretty awful game. So I thought
I agree.
The linebackers played a huge role in slowing down that running game because we're definitely without Wyatt, we're struggling there. But overall as a team, outstanding job. They're only credited with 3 missed tackles, which is
that's awesome.
Big.
That's awesome. Yeah. So a lot of times you've seen the rallying to the ball again too. Yeah, like even when that one play where Monangai smokes, probably could have got a penalty for leading with the crown of his helmet, but
that doesn't exist.
Yeah, hit Cooper right in the face mask. For one, kudos to Cooper just standing right back up and chasing him down and actually helping with that tackle.
Again,
But,
that was huge.
Everyone just swarms, and they did it again this game.
Yeah, they were much better. I gotta point something out since you brought up D tackles. Tom Brady was talking pregame, and he was like, "Oh, the Bears are going to take advantage of the Packers starting 2 rookies at defensive tackle." I'm like, I don't know about you, but Carl Brooks is definitely not a rookie, and neither is Colby Wooden. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Is the cold getting in this guy's head already? But they were a little.
Carl Brooks did have the one play where he smoked DJ Moore in the backfield, and that was awesome. Yeah. But
I think the Botox was just a little too tight in the cold air.
Man.
Strangling his brain.
As we're talking about all this good stuff, I just wanted to bring up this stat that I saw this week is that no Packers opponent has scored 20 points or reached 300 total yards at Lambeau this year. So, I mean, that's impressive stuff from the defense.
Nice. It's definitely a stat that's going to be good to know going into the playoffs.
Yeah. Let's get that 1 seed.
We need to get that home field. I don't know that we'll get to the 1 seed, but a 2 seed would still even be huge.
We can get the 1 seed.
We only have one home game. I know we can. I'm saying I don't think we will. But I'll say we only have one home game left this year, so we got to get the work done on the road now.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. 3rd and 4th down defense.
Yeah. So 8 of 16 overall for the Chicago Bears. 1 for 2 on 4th down. And they had 2 first downs from penalty, which happened on the same drive. One of them complete bullshit, as all of us know. Excuse me. In the first half, they went 1 for 7 from third down range, they averaged 10.2 yards to go on those third downs, which was like really good for the Packers, obviously. Packers were winning early downs. They only had one attempt from the third and short area. That was a 3-yarder that they ended up converting. That was the one that they converted. They had 2 from third medium, 7 yards and 5 yards. And then they had 4 attempts in the first half from the third and long area, 15 yards, 8 yards, and 19 yards. So there's 0 for 4 right there. Packers being really good, winning on the early downs, which is obviously important to be a really good third down defense, which the Packers are overall, I think. Then you get into the second half. They went 7 for 9. A big portion of that is because 5 of their 7 were on that long 17-play drive that they ended up that was a game tire, I believe. They had 5 attempts from 1 yard, and they converted every single one of them. On that same drive, they converted another third down that was an 8-yarder. The other third down they converted in the second half was from the 5-yard range. They had 1 from 1 yard, which obviously was turned into a fourth down, which is the one that they didn't convert. But they got to a 3rd and 1 because Enigbari made another monster play with that tackle before the interception. So I wanted to point that out as well. Stopped them on a 3rd and 1, stopped them on a 4th and 1. So just like every other time this year that I've been saying it, when the defense needs to make a play, they make the play. And you can't teach that, honestly.
Yeah. Secondary.
Okay, I know, especially after the 2 penalties back to back, people really hated on Sean Nixon, but I thought he played a really solid game. The first one I get hands face dumb. The second one, that should have never been a penalty, or it should have been offsetting. I don't understand what the refs saw that they thought Keyshawn Nixon, all the dude did was push his hand away. He didn't even hit him or I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't there on the field. I don't know what was said. I don't know what. It doesn't matter. What everyone saw though was him push his hand away, and I couldn't believe that flag against Keyshawn Nixon. That was absolutely wild. And then everyone's like, "Oh, bench him, trade him, cut him, blah blah blah." Well, I mean, I don't know what to say. I think he ended up kind of shutting everyone up in a way. Even before that, I thought he had an overall solid game. I know he allowed that touchdown, but that was just an incredibly lucky play, in my opinion. I want to see
the percentages of that. I think I seen it
there had to be
14% chance or something. It just went through his hands.
Yeah,
to your point, I was pissed off about his second foul at first, but then I seen the freeze frame, and it's just what do you want the guy to do? He's being choked.
Yeah. I don't know what. I would do the same thing if someone's trying to put their hand around my neck. What am I going to do? Just let him do it? I don't know what from him.
So my opinion, not to cut you off, but my opinion is I go to 2 things. One, I go to what Mike Tomlin said a couple weeks ago when he talked about Jalen Ramsey getting spit on. Go to what feels natural. That's what I go to. First of all, if you got to fight somebody, you got to fight somebody. Secondly, we're playing a physical game that is run on emotion. And if somebody's emotions makes them choke somebody else, why the hell am I getting a flag for it? They can review every single thing in the world, but they can't review that in 3 seconds. Get the out of here with that shit, man. Yeah. I was pissed after I saw him choke him.
I couldn't believe that. But after that, I thought Keyshawn kind of locked in a little bit. I thought that even on that touchdown, it was good coverage. He had a pass breakup. He only allowed 2 catches for 11 yards. He had that really very instinctual play at the end of the game to put the dagger through their hearts.
Covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, and I will say I think that was more Caleb messing up, but it was good on Keyshawn to have the wherewithal to realize that he was wide open in the end zone, because it's the same exact play that they ran versus Philly in almost the same exact situation. That should have been Evan Williams, and he kind of admitted to it at that point. But Keyshawn Nixon, I thought he played a hell of a game.
The play recognition and the get back and make that play is just insane.
Yeah, even to get there and make a play crazy. I thought outside of that, Evan Williams, Pro Bowler in my opinion, at least. Maybe second team All Pro. He's having such a good year, and I know people crap on Gutekunst a lot, but last year's draft is looking good.
Amazing.
Yeah. Even if you count Jordan Morgan as a miss, which I'm not yet. I'm not there yet. Then you got Cooper, Bullard, Evan Williams, who are all playing like absolute studs right now.
Yeah, I love
the Horns thing. Yeah. Did you see that picture? What's his name? Siegel took.
Dude, I screenshotted that so fast, bro. That shit is nasty, dude.
Yeah.
I seen kind of an interesting tweet about what you're talking about today, Simon. And it's like people talking about Cooper DeJean still, who actually Bullard has a better PFF grade than this year. And it's like people complaining about Morgan. If we could redo the draft, the Packers take Edrin Cooper at that pick.
Yep.
And if Edrin Cooper's not available, they take Evan Williams. And if Evan Williams is available, they take Bullard.
Yep.
It's how they've played. So people need to. I get it. DeJean's been good too, but like that's been a stellar draft so far. Yeah. And Jordan Morgan. We can talk about it. I'll talk about it when I get to the offensive line. I don't think Rasheed Walker's been all that good.
I was gonna say the same thing when I got to part of my segment, but
yeah.
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
You're good.
I was just going to jump into this on what Brian's saying. The way that it sounds and the way that I think that I'm interpreting what you're saying is that people only want to talk about obviously the misses, especially when they happen earlier in the draft, but don't want to give credit when first round talent is found in the second, third, fourth.
Yeah. If you redo the draft from last year, all three of those guys are going in the first round. I guarantee it.
Yep.
Outside of that,
do you remember last year early on they had, if they would have done the redraft like mid-season or by the end of the season or whatever, Evan Williams they had going in like top 10. They had him at like 9 or something to Atlanta.
Yep, I remember that.
But we're really good at getting off topic. I thought overall, I thought the secondary was good. Valentine let up a really long one for Burden on a comeback route on third down, but I thought he was pretty quiet most of the night. And then McKinney allowed one, which the secondary made the Bears earn everything, like almost everything. And even on that catch that was done on McKinney, he was right there, and he was like this close to making the play on the ball. So I thought the secondary played really well last night, yesterday or Sunday. Jeez, Sunday. I don't know what day of the week it is. Sorry.
You know what? If you would have named 7 days, you would have got one of them.
Yeah. True.
Right, eventually. Doesn't set the season as Super Bowl or bust, just saying. I don't think that's...
No, I don't agree with that.
The 2020, 2021 Aaron Rodgers seasons, those were the Super Bowl or bust teams. I mean, this team is Super Bowl capable. That doesn't make it Super Bowl or bust, in my opinion.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I think it's fair to... I agree to a certain degree, but I think if we don't make the NFC Championship game and at least give that a good run for its money and don't get blown or anything, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
because I think we have the talent around us. We cannot go like one and done. If we do one and done in the playoffs, it's a disappointment.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, if we don't end up with the bye, and I feel like the NFC Championship game should be our floor to say the season was a disappointment.
That's fair.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. Dustin said we need a better line coming this coming week. We'll definitely get into that when we get into the preview stuff. The other things with the secondary, two plays that we should talk about. One, Javon Bullard showing a crazy amount of speed, closing on Caleb Williams to force another throwaway. Seeing like the aerial angle of that one, it's insane to see how much ground he closes, how quickly. I'll do my best to find that video and share it on our pages, but it's crazy to see how much ground he covers to get to Caleb Williams in the backfield, who ends up throwing the ball away. And then one play that Bryant was talking about when we were starting to talk, get on the tangent with the refs a little bit. I plan on talking about it in the coaching, but it's fair to talk about it here in the secondary as well. Evan Williams should have had the first of 2 Caleb Williams interceptions. I don't understand how you can go and look at that replay and determine that it would have been an incomplete pass, but it never touches the ground, and Evan Williams comes away with it, that doesn't result in an interception. If you don't determine that he didn't have possession to catch and then fumble the ball for Evan Williams to come away with it, How do you go back and say that it's incomplete unless you can see that it touches the ground? I've seen 3 angles of that play, and I've yet to see any single angle that can show me that it touched the ground.
Also, we challenged whether or not our guy had possession after they ruled the fumble. We didn't challenge whether it was complete or incomplete. That should have been the Bears that had to challenge that. And then the rest should have had to prove that after they ruled it was complete on the field. They should have proved that it was incomplete, and they didn't do any of that. So I don't understand it.
They only said it was incomplete because he didn't have control of it. But if he didn't have control of it, and Evan Williams comes away with the ball with it never touching the ground,
holding it like this, and then someone comes and smacks it out of his hand while he's being touched by a bear.
I don't understand how a guy comes out of that 2-man pile with the football. It's not determined that the offensive player had the ball. How is it not the defense's ball by either catch and fumble or interception?
Well, and then, to go to a different game, there was the interception by Petrie in the Texans in the Texans-Chiefs game on Sunday night, and the ball literally, it was a nice play. He tracked the ball down after he tipped it, and then the ball gets trapped, and you literally see the ball on the ground get pushed up farther into his hands, and they call that a catch.
And it spins. You can see the laces spin.
I'm like, I don't know what a catch is anymore. I don't know what an interception is. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I guess they can call it whatever they want.
It was the Steelers-Ravens game.
Yeah,
with Isaiah Likely. Couldn't believe it. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
2 feet down, but not a third one.
Yeah.
That one reminded me of the Jordy Nelson play when we played Washington. Remember that?
Yeah, but they counted ours.
But they counted that.
That one worked for us, but I'm still like, I didn't think that was ever a touchdown. You didn't have it
like
long
10
enough.
years ago at this point now, and now there's even less clarity.
I'm telling you, we don't know what a catch is again, dude.
Yeah. Dustin said I saw Golden Friday at Costco, and that's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we'll talk about him also, actually, when we get to the offensive side of the ball. Red zone defense.
Yeah, red zone defense. So there was one drive that was aided completely by some flags. The Packers did a nice job holding him to a field goal, I thought. So nice job there. There was another drive where there was 2 plays where there was holding calls that could have been called. To Caleb's credit, he made a couple nice passes. They ended up scoring a touchdown on that one. That was the Evan Williams play where he threw it down to Komet, where Evan Williams was blitzing. But then it was their 7th drive. Packers did a nice job after 2 big-time gains to hold the Bears to a field goal when they were gaining momentum. And then obviously we know the 17-play drive where they scored a touchdown. Obviously we know that the last time they got into the red zone, they were at the 12-yard line, I believe it was, when we got the interception. So a couple nice plays there for the defense to step up at the end of the game when Packers offense had a nice drive after they were driving all over us. But overall, the red zone defense, especially for how gassed they were in the second half, I thought showed a lot of grit. And that's not something that you would have said about teams in the past in Green Bay to show grit and heart and that kind of stuff. But I think this team has a little bit different attitude on defense. And, I'm not trying to say everything is Micah Parsons, but that guy's amazing, dude. So he deserves all the flowers that we give him.
I mean, I think we spent just a big chunk of time talking about the secondary. I think those guys and their attitudes, and I would throw Xavier McKinney in there as a leader as well, and how those guys have grown even just over the year and a half that they've been here, I think is fair to bring up also.
Steve's comment.
Yeah, Steve said Matt LaFleur could say, don't know what a hold is, don't know what a catch is, don't know what an interception is.
Yeah. You know what I do know? Packers are in first place.
That's true.
I know that.
No
All
doubt.
right, Bryant, what do you have to say about special teams?
Yeah, there was a couple mistakes that I wasn't, a huge fan of. We had the dumb penalty on what was a nice Dobbs punt return. It was soft. It was a soft block in the back, but they're going to call it every single time.
Yep.
Anything that happens on special teams, that's got to be probably the most flagged play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Special teams plays all the time. It seems to happen. So too bad that it kind of started a string of us having bad field position for a minute there. Well, actually, the interception was a big part that kind of strung that together, but we struggled with that again, which has been kind of a theme in a couple games. We won each of them, but bad penalty by McManus to kick it out of bounds right after we go up a touchdown again. I don't love that. Other than that, I thought overall, it was pretty good. We were good in kick coverage. So I like the fact we're kicking off because I feel like we get down there and cover well. He also made all his extra points, so it was cold and crappy out, so good on that. I would still like to see him make a couple long kicks to help me feel a little bit better going into the playoffs and everything. But we really haven't had to attempt one recently. And then Whelan had an average of 48 yards, put a nice one inside the 20. So decent game from him. He did have one that was kind of not great after a penalty. Of course, we got a penalty and then he had to repunt and it cost us something like 18 yards in field position. But overall, it was good enough to not cost us game and to be, good enough. Which has been the theme the last few weeks, and that's a good. That might not sound great, but that's great for Green Bay's special teams.
Good enough is good enough. I mean, yeah.
And this,
do you guys think LaFleur is being more aggressive recently because who we're playing with Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson, or is it because of Watson being back? That's a really good question. I'm going to hold on to it before we get to coaching because I'm going to say some stuff with what they've been doing with Jordan Love.
Also, huge credit to Hopper and Mosby. I think they've both been playing really good on kick coverage.
They're really good.
Yeah, they've both been stellar this year.
It's going to be really interesting if Cox comes back at all because he doesn't play special teams. And I don't think you want to cut Mosby right now because the way he is playing special teams. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, Cox can just have some of the pass rush snaps that Rashawn Gary's given up on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, keep guys fresh, I guess. Let's jump into the offense, starting with tight ends.
I think this is the best game they've had since Kraft's injury, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I think Matt LaFleur's utilizing these guys all pretty well. Wiley had a huge 21-yard gainer on his lone target. Fitzpatrick went 2 for 2 for 14 yards. Musgrave, I wish I saw a better replay of the no catch because I don't know. I don't remember seeing a replay where I was like, okay. Huh?
Yeah.
It touched 3 blades of grass.
Yeah.
I can see why they don't. It hit the ground, moves a little bit. Okay, I'm like, okay, that's not a catch. But then literally that's why I messaged you guys watching that other game. I'm like, that interception just rotated in that guy's hands after it hit the ground. Why is that a catch? But Musgrave's wasn't. I don't get it. That was a hell of an effort by Musgrave, though.
Yeah. So he had 4 targets. He had 22 yards. And that diving reception down the sideline, that didn't count. Also in the run game, I thought they did a really good job of keeping Love clean against the blitz. I don't think Love – it felt like Love barely got touched. After that first sack on that drive that right before he threw the interception, I don't think Love was touched all game.
They had 8 pressures all game.
Yeah, that's – I'll take that. I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah.
I love the way they're using Musgrave right now, with those deeper, middling crossers and stuff like that, because you're not going to have a safety or tight end safety or linebacker that keep up with them. Not many in the league that when he's running across the field like that.
Especially the Bears' poor slow safeties. Holy God. Jeez.
It looked like they were running in water, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, they were they got taken advantage of.
We should just throw 20 quick slants against them to Jaden Reed and Watson and Golden when we play them next week.
Seriously.
Yeah, give me some one-on-one with a safety.
Yeah.
Also keep blitzing. Keep blitzing.
I agree with.
Yeah.
Steve also said sometimes injuries can be a blessing if this audition helps Musgrave confidence long term. Imagine
I said that. I said that right after Kraft's injury too.
Yeah, I really like Wiley too.
I like Wiley a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks good in his role right now.
Yeah,
I think he's got a little swag to him.
And Fitzpatrick with his run blocking, I really like the way they use them this game. All 3 of them.
And I think Wiley, like I said, I said this last week, you could use him at fullback too a little bit if you wanted to.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Wide receivers.
Yeah, that was a really fun game by our wide receivers and our cornerback. Let's be honest, he's not a cornerback. This dude's a wide receiver again.
Did any of you go straight to like Bears fans posts and say you got cooked by our fourth corner?
So Watson just continued to ball out. 4 targets for 4 catches, 89 yards and 2 tutties. And him getting up to 21.6 miles per hour on that slant, he's healthy. And did you see what Bo Melton said after the game? I guess him and Bo Melton like to go back and forth up against who's the fastest.
Oh yeah.
And the reporter told them, well, on that slant, Watson hit 21.6, and Bo kind of was like 21.6. He's like, all right, he's got it. He's faster. He just was cooking dudes. Bo Melton, really good job on that 45-yard touchdown. Good concentration. I thought that, honestly, we'll get into it, but that could have been a better throwing ball, but just good concentration. Reed coming back and immediately first touch of the game being involved. I love that. I feel like we've completely gone away from the end arounds. That's probably not the case anymore because we actually have our wide receiver that can actually get yards on him again. He had 2 end arounds for 22 yards, 1 for 15, 1 for 7. Both great play. I'll take that all day long.
Yep. And I'll say this when we get into looking at how LaFleur is using the passing game distribution if you have anything else to say on the wide receivers.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Go ahead.
So like I said, Reed, 4 catches for 31 yards, really good job to get him back. People wondering about Wicks and Golden, they're both injured. They hardly played any snaps. I'll say Golden seemed in good spirits. He was giving up the big dub sign after the game into the camera and stuff like that. I'll say the one I'm a little concerned about, and he's, he had the touchdown last weekend, but he's kind of been quiet and stuff, is Dobbs. He really the last several games, he's not been all that good. He only received 2 targets this time. The one he didn't, I felt like he could have get a pass interference called against him. For him, there was a little bit of contact, but the cornerback did a good job turning around. But if Dobbs fights through that a little more, I think he might get the call. But overall, I don't know. Maybe Dobbs sees already on the wall that he will not be back next year. But I hope he just kind of, hopefully he returns to the Dobbs that's been having fun all season up to the last few weeks or whatever, because we're going to need him to win a Super Bowl. Even if he's not here next year, I'm sure he would love to have a Super Bowl ring on his finger and to continue to ball out because he needs to make himself some money here. He's already made it. He'll get an okay contract, but I feel like we might need him to step up a little more.
Steve said it feels like there was an ally on those end arounds. The line is doing a good job in creating the lanes too. Watson and Dobbs are both part of that. If we're talking about, guys blocking on the edges and stuff like that. Looking at the passing game distribution aspect of it, and where Brian's talking about being a fan of the way that they're doing these end arounds, I think what goes along with that is that they aren't throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage so much. And I have the breakdown of exactly how often they've been doing it over the last 4 games when we get to the preview, but it's been less. So you can do more of those wide receiver type stuff behind the back of the line of scrimmage if you're not also throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage 7 times a game. And then you're talking about putting the ball in your wide receiver's hands 10 times a game behind the line of scrimmage, when that's not what they're here to do. That's what you have running backs for. Your job for your wide receivers is to get downfield. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but your wide receivers shouldn't be playing behind the line of scrimmage on like 40% of their touches. So that, I think, is a factor in what makes these end arounds feel like a better part of the game plan, is because we're also not throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage a ton. In the Bears game, it was 3 times. Jordan Love was 3 for 3 behind the line of scrimmage. That's perfect. Again, I said this the last 2 weeks. As long as we're not doing it like 7 times a game, great. I don't need it to be 0. I don't need it to be 1, but 1 to 3 is plenty. It's fine. It's effective. Yes, Steve, 7 is a real number. There were games earlier this year where I was getting frustrated with the play calling, where there were 7 throws behind the line of scrimmage. I will have more in the preview. With this game, Jordan Love was also 8 of 9 on 0 to 9 yard passes, generated 84 yards, 4 for 4 on 10 to 19 yard passes. Hell yeah. Generated 70 yards on those plays. 70 yards on 4 completions compared to 84 yards on 8 completions from the 0 to 9 versus the 10 to 19 range. And then 2 for 7 on 20-plus yard plays. I love that we're throwing the ball downfield. Yes, Jordan Love had 1 interception in a long pass, but also 2 touchdowns. Jordan Love can sling the rock. Every single time somebody talks about him, they use the words arm talent, and everybody's like, the arm talent is there. Okay, so let's use it, please. Yes, Steve, it's definitely a wow and not in a good way. Okay, moving on, offensive line.
Yeah, so kind of an up and down game. There's a few – it's okay game overall, especially when you're talking about only giving up 8 pressures. But the reason I say it was kind of okay is I don't think they're all that good in the run block or pass blocking. They're still allowing a lot of pressures. I feel like they've done a little bit better in run blocking, though. I will give them credit for that. I will say my concern, and this is a concern for me kind of going forward into the playoffs, is I feel like the interior of the offensive line is struggling quite a bit with allowing pressures and quick pressures. So actually Tom struggled this game too. So Belton and Ryan combined for 3 pressures allowed, and then Tom had 3 pressures. Overall, they only allowed the 1 sack, and I thought that was probably a ball that Jordan Love could have got rid of, actually. So not a perfect game, but decent there. I will say for the second game in a row now, they've decreased the amount of heavy sets they're running with Kennard. He's only had 6 plays this game. I think last game it was just low double digits. Don't forget, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was up towards like 30 snaps like that. So for me, this is good though, because this is kind of coaching, changing up what they're doing a little bit. And maybe they only did it 6 times against the Bears this time. Maybe we come out and run a bunch of heavy sets against them next week. So I kind of like the way they're switching it up and kind of changing. But I would like to see that number bump back up a little bit. The other thing I want to give the offensive line for is they've only had 1 penalty again. And they've been really good at dialing back the penalties. Earlier in the year, we were getting quite a bit of pre-snap penalties and holdings and other kind of penalties. Belton had that one game where he had like 3 penalties or 2 or 3 penalties in a row or whatever it was.
2 of them on the first drive.
Yeah, so they've done a lot better in that way too. So we'll see what happens. I feel like they might bump up the amount of heavy sets against the Broncos this week again to help in running game. But overall, they're playing well enough. I'm just hoping they're well enough is good enough once we get into the playoffs, because it hasn't been perfect. There's some concern, but Jordan Love has covered a lot of it up with his ability to adjust the line and point out blitzes and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully he can. I mean, I expect him to be able to continue to do that. So as long as they continue to play how they have been, we should be all right. But hopefully, Belton and Ryan continue to improve and take steps forward as they're getting more and more snaps. I will say also one more thing I want to say. Ryan, his first few starts at center, we've seen some ugly snaps. I didn't see one of concern at all this game.
Yeah,
dude, he's so good at center. So good. He's so much better at center than he is guard.
I wouldn't say he's like some stellar center, but he's definitely better at center than what he was at guard, and I feel like he is improving.
I think he's played better than Jenkins did.
100%. 100%.
Kennard played 6 snaps this week, 14 snaps last week, and 21 snaps against Minnesota. I will say the 21 against Minnesota, the Packers were playing pretty conservatively because Jordan Love had his shoulder injury that game.
I think also now that we're getting guys back and they're getting healthier, it's going to be harder to get. It'll be less frequently that we're putting in those 6 O-line sets.
Yeah, especially with the tight ends playing better like you brought up earlier.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
True.
On holding penalties, the Packers currently have 19 holding penalties against them and have had 13 holding penalties called when they're playing defense. Looking at holding penalties drawn, I only have team numbers. Unfortunately, I don't have specific numbers. Obviously, we know that Michael Parsons' number is 0, but Packers have drawn 13 holding penalties. That is 24th in the NFL.
So we get all the calls.
Yeah, getting no calls.
Yeah, no, we get all of them.
Yeah, yeah, that's a 8-year-old narrative that just needs to go away. That wasn't even ever really that true to be.
Nope.
Okay, Moving on to the run game.
Yeah, I loved what Josh Jacobs put together this week. That play, that third down play where they toss. That picture was so funny. I sent them a picture of like the four bears like crashed together for like right behind Josh Jacobs, and it just said four bears down. I thought that was really funny, but yeah, I thought Josh Jacobs put together a really nice afternoon. I know he didn't eclipse 100 yards or like have a super amount of receiving yards or anything like that, but he still went 20 carries for 86 yards and a touchdown, 80 yards after contact, 4 yards after contact per attempt, and he forced a season high 9 missed tackles.
Hell yeah.
And ran for 7 first downs. And that 3rd and 1 run was all Josh Jacobs. Like, I was like, I hate these stupid toss plays on 3rd and short. Yeah, the McCarthy special. And then he just like, I was like, you know what, Josh Jacobs, you know what he's, and that's something. If you gave Emmanuel Wilson that same carry, he's getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll get to it. But yeah, like Josh Jacobs does so much for this team.
That play specifically, I was like, thank you, Gutekunst, for going and getting Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. But yeah, he put together a really stellar game. I think he only had 2 catches for like 6 yards or something. Jordan Love had a run for -1 yard. I honestly don't even remember it. Like Brian said, it's good to have Jaden Reed back, taking 2 end arounds for 22 yards. And then I thought Emmanuel Wilson, and this is something I think he struggles with sometimes, is sometimes he's not patient enough to let the blocks kind of open things up for him, because I thought he had something and he just ended up running right into the defender's arms. And so he only ended up with 3 carries for 10 yards. But overall, I thought the running game was decently solid. A little inconsistent with some of the runs, but they did enough to let the offense kind of do their thing throughout the day.
Yeah. Bryant and I actually said something to the same point on Emmanuel Wilson at one point, that it looked like if he had had the patience, that he had an opportunity to bounce one outside and have a 10-yard gain before anybody touches him.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Steve said, sometimes I wonder if Micah's relentless effort leads to officials not calling things, because like Giannis, he plays through the contact. Most guys fall down and then they get the call.
I don't hate that.
I don't disagree with you, but it's one of those obvious things where, similarly with Giannis, like we see it all the time, where it's like, how can you miss that? How do you miss that?
Yeah.
It's so blatant. Like, you can see arms across arms. You can see arms around Micah Parsons' neck. If we can see it on a television screen and zoom in, you face to face watching it from 10 yards physically away in real life should be able to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here crying about the refs and stuff, because I understand there's basically holding calls all game. But
right.
If you're going to sit there and tell me Micah Parsons and his abilities hasn't been held one time all year,
in
come
400
on.
Pass rushes,
yeah, that just seems absolutely wild to me.
I think the funniest one is the one where he got held on late in the 4th. You were talking about that play that McKinney almost made the play on, where he was step for step with the guy, where Williams got outside the pocket and waited for what felt like 10 minutes. Parsons literally got held by 2 people on the same play, and the NFL posted that as a highlight for Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Bro!
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. 3rd and 4th down offense.
Yeah. They were really good and very efficient. Jordan Love was efficient all day. He kept his offense efficient all day. He's been really good on 3rd downs this year. Got some more of that in the preview. But in this one, 3rd and short, they were 4 for 4 in the first half. They had attempts from 2 yards, 3 yards, 1 yard, 2 yard. And they had 0 attempts from 3rd medium the entire game. They had 3 attempts from 3rd and long in the first half. The first attempt for 3rd and long was a 3rd and 19 through the interception. Only bad play that the Packers offense made the entire day, in my opinion. The next one was a 3rd and 19. And then the third attempt that they had from 3rd and long was from 3rd and 10. That was the touchdown to Christian Watson throw. Then you get to the second half, 3 for 3 from 3rd and short again. So they went a combined 7 for 7 between the first half and second half from the 3rd and short area. They had a 3-yard attempt. That was a 41-yard touchdown to Christian Watson again. That was the slant route. They had a 2-yard, a 3rd and 2. That was the first down. Oh, I wrote that wrong. There's supposed to be a 3rd and 1. The run by Josh Jacobs, play of the game, honestly. I know that Nixon ends up like winning the game with an interception, but that play doesn't happen without Josh Jacobs picking up that first down, which set up the touchdown, obviously. And then they had another attempt, which was the Josh Jacobs touchdown on the goal line. They went 0 for 2 from 3rd and 11, 3rd and 10. The 3rd and 10 was immediately after the defense was on the field, which allowed the Bears to have that long drive, which is what Bryant was talking to us about in the second half. He was starting to get pretty heated with the play calling in that drive. I agree. The play calling was pretty fucking bad, in my opinion, too. But we'll get to the coaching section. But overall, 8 for 12, 3 touchdowns on 3rd down. So, I mean, can't complain too much. 3rd down offense has been really good all year.
Yeah, Scott said, can't the league step in and tell officials to start calling these holding calls? They can. They won't.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Mhm.
Looking at the Packers in the red zone, they had 1 try, they had 1 touchdown. So 100%. The touchdown was set up by that 21-yard run by Josh Jacobs. There was an Emmanuel Wilson run for 3 yards. A second goal from the 4-yard line had a neutral zone infraction that moved to second goal at the 2. They had 0 yards on 2nd down, and then on 3rd and goal, Jacobs punched it in for what would have been a very, very stressful 4th down play call for Matt LaFleur, but he was able to avoid that. Moving into the coaching section, I will say Jeff Hafley, I think, did a really good job of calling good blitzes, varying them up. Caleb had no rhythm, in my opinion, and the Packers' rushing defense was pretty good, especially in the first half, like Simon said. Overall, I think Matt LaFleur also had some pretty good play calling, especially navigating blitzes, like Jake has been calling for a couple of weeks and just brought up, throwing a slant. And our fast guy takes it to the house. And you watch that play. Just watching that play, and it's like, how can they not tackle him? It doesn't even look like he's moving that fast. That's a next level of fast that it makes other fast players look slow.
Makes fast people look not fast.
Yeah, dude. I think that every time.
I mean, but it sounds dumb to say, but it's so true. Like watching the one that he had against the Eagles that Jordan Love threw.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.
Through him when he came in for Aaron Rodgers when he got hurt against the Eagles a couple years ago. And he takes a 10-yard slant and turns it into a 60-yard touchdown. But you see, it's like guys have angles, and it doesn't look like they're moving that fast. Then you remember that he's 6'4" and takes gigantic steps.
Yeah, he runs like a gazelle, literally.
Dude, he's an alien, dude. You should not come back from an ACL like that. That's impossible.
Please make him a Packer forever. Thank you.
So it's awesome watching Christian Watson get the ball into space.
His route tree's also gotten so much better since he's been in the league. Yeah. And I can't believe that he looks this good coming off an ACL. Like I can believe it, but like also I'm just like still dumbfounded. Like he looks so good.
I think there's some credit that should be given to the Packers staff for that.
Yes. 100%.
People like to kind of poke fun at the fact that Packers are usually conservative when bringing guys back from injuries and stuff like that. But, I mean, looking at the windows that they activated guys, I mean, Jaden Reed is another one you can throw in there. He had a collarbone and a foot injury surgically healed after week 2, and he came back. They activated his window. He practiced for a couple weeks and then came in and played and had, 7 touches right away?
That's a good call. They just changed medical staffs. What was that, 2 years ago?
Yep.
I think 2 years ago, yeah. But
Dude, 2024 was a crazy year, bro. They did everything in 2024, dude.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I mean, credit to Watson too for working as hard
yeah.
as he did to come back.
Yep. Yeah, Steve Watson eats up ground.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he does.
Looking at one thing that I've called for a lot is more play action. They ran 7 play action passes, which is a little over 25% of Jordan Love's total dropbacks. I'll take it. You look at 7 passes, with that being, like I said, about 25% of his passes. He threw 7, completed 5 for 90 yards and a touchdown. So if you look at it, like I said, again, it's about 25% of the passes. That equals about 38.5% of the yards, and obviously it's 33.3% of the touchdowns that Jordan Love had in this game. So the efficiency is there. Like, run it. Good things happen when you run play action. Please continue to do so. Again, I'm not asking for it to be half of his dropbacks, but a quarter, I'll take it. Looking at coaching as far as challenging goes, we talked about the Loveland catch fumble that ended up being an incomplete pass. Technically, Matt LaFleur won that challenge because it wasn't a catch for Chicago, but he should have gotten more than he got on that one. And then the second one, he did win. That turned a first down into a 3rd and 1 that they ended up picking up anyways. So, if they had gotten a stop, obviously it would have looked much better, but did win both of his challenges. As far as time of possession is concerned, Chicago won 33-29 to 26 minutes and 31 seconds for the Green Bay Packers. Now, looking at a 7-minute difference in time of possession, the Chicago Bears ran 16 more plays than the Packers did. 68 plays compared to 52, and given the fact that the Packers ran 16 fewer plays, they still outgained Chicago 337 to 315 in yardage. A big part of that is thankful to the before halftime touchdown. They went basically a big chunk of the length of the field. It took less than a minute for them to go and score a long touchdown to Bo Melton. So, looking at Jordan Love, Bryant, what did you take away from Jordan Love this week?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid game. Awful interception to start the game. I felt like he was forcing something there. He did say the ball came out a little weird. If he lays that over that linebacker, it goes into the hole where Golden would probably have been waiting there. It still would have been a really tough completion. But I thought he did a really good job to shake it off after that and then just play really well against the blitz. You'd start to nitpick a few things. He could have, just thrown that ball just a hair better to Musgrave. It's probably a completion. We kind of got, I don't want to say lucky. It was still a really good throw and a recognition to get that ball to Bo Melton, but you want to probably lay it out there a little bit more so that defensive back doesn't have even a chance to reach out and try to get that. Because as Simon alluded to, if those guys weren't so slow, if that was a faster safety, he probably gets there and at least deflects it. So, but when you start to nitpick, oh, you could have thrown your touchdown pass a tiny little bit better. That's pretty nitpicky. So overall, just, he made some stellar throws. There's a couple really good plays. So just and his work at the line, like
that's what
checks, his cans is just I hadn't even
That
seen
was
that.
basically all my notes on Jordan.
Yeah, like
smart people watch our show.
Yeah,
just his ability to control the line of scrimmage right now. He's taken a huge step forward in that, and he just knows exactly what he's trying to do. Yeah,
Simon, what did you think about Jordan Love?
Yeah, like Brian said, after the interception, I thought Love was basically lights out. And kind of echoing what Brian said, you can see what he looked at and saw. It still would have been a tough completion, but I can't really. This is like 3rd and long and like 4th and long plays where a guy just kind of heaves it. I'm like about like interceptions. I'm like, would it have been better if he just kind of like took a little check down and tried to let the guy make a dude miss and, get the first down? Sure. But I wasn't completely upset by the interception. It was kind of whatever to me. Love leads the NFL in EPA per dropback this season. I don't know if some people don't care for like stats like that or advanced stats. And they're not an end-all, be-all to everything, but when they start like all these advanced metrics start like piling up, Love's been one of the best QBs in the league this season as a player. he was so good against the blitz, and this kind of goes back to crediting the tight ends for keeping him clean too. Love was 8 for 11 for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. that's just so good. He had a season high 63.6% success rate versus a blitz, and the Packers skill position players allowed 0 pressures across those blitz attempts. So they were, like I said, they were really good. The Bears safeties are not good. After DJ Gardner-Johnson's interception, he allowed 8 catches on 8 attempts. Hold on, let me make sure I get the yardage right. 97 yards and a touchdown.
Damn.
He was not good after that play. And then Jaquan Brisker, not good either. He allowed 1 reception for 45 yards and a touchdown. Kevin Byard, 2 catches for 28 yards and a touchdown for a perfect passer rating. Yeah, they were not good. And the Bear, tip of the cap to Dennis Allen. I would have stopped blitzing that for the first time. He just tore apart their safeties in one-on-one coverage. I think we'll see something massively different from the Bears defense when we play them again in 2 weeks. But Love's just been absolutely awesome. And that's just, you're still seeing, like Brian said, a lot of growth from him at the line. He has an absolute master. Like, he has a master's in Matt LaFleur's offense right now, and he has total control over it. And that's everything you'd want in another quarterback coming in to Green Bay Packers. So,
yeah, I think it's funny seeing, like, going into the game, Bears fans are like, if we make Jordan Love throw the ball, we win. And
oh my God. Sorry, did you see that tweet? I think I sent it to you guys, where it's like, put the ball in Caleb Williams' hand on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
Like, right before. I was like, ooh.
I don't know if you guys will remember this, but when Jordan Love was first starting, my season bold prediction was that Jordan Love would end up that season would end up being the most prolific season ever in the Bears history. And that still stands. And these clowns that are calling him trash and everything, he has more touchdowns, less interceptions than Caleb Williams, more yards, better completion, better QBR, better rating, everything. They're not smart. Their last 2 brain cells are fighting for 3rd place. I don't understand, like, where they look at him and sit there and want to talk crap about Jordan Love and then think Caleb Williams floor is Jordan Love's ceiling. Get the hell out of here.
My favorite.
Caleb Williams might never have a season as good as Jordan Love's first season when he started.
My favorite is the people that are like you throw all these like advanced metrics and like all these stats and stuff at him, and they're just like, oh, he doesn't pass the eye test though. I'm like, what are you watching, bro? Are you blind? I just can't get out. And I will say, I think Caleb Williams can be good. He's just not. Yeah. He's not there yet with Jordan Love.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, he's just not there yet, and that's okay to admit.
So, okay. Yeah. Here's the thing. If you put Jordan Love in an orange and blue jersey, he immediately passes the eye test.
100%.
And Bears fans, if they're legitimate with themselves, if 32 GMs were asked, do you take Caleb Williams or Jordan Love? 29 at minimum, in my opinion, are probably taking Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and one of those might be the Bears GM.
Yes. Yes. It's not like Jordan Love is 35 years old or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like,
He just turned 27.
His career, and it's not like he also, relies on being a running quarterback. Like, I would be a little bit more worried about how Lamar Jackson is going to age versus how Jordan Love is going to age.
I think the thing too is, like, right now, just watching the Bears offense, you can tell that Ben Johnson is holding Caleb Williams' hand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, he is walking him through. And like, I think right now it's just because it's his first year in the offense, and he's still, in my opinion, learning some stuff about it and how to play and be a pro. But like right now, that's where he's at, and it's still really not that good.
Yeah. I think he can be good.
It's not bad. I don't think it's like bad by any stretch of imagination. I think he just has a long way to go still.
He has to develop as a drop back passer. All that bootleg shit is cute and all, but you can't run that shit all game. Clearly, we saw why you can't do that.
We
in
started
Green Bay on Sunday,
yeah,
because they tried to show him off in the first half, and how'd that go for him? Not very freaking well. The Packers were dominating on the first 2 downs because they were forcing Caleb to throw. He was not completing passes because he was not used to throwing in the cold. He wants to act like he's some tough guy. Oh, I used to play in this in the East Coast. Shut the fuck up, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. First of all, you look like fucking shit. You didn't look good until you started running the damn ball.
He's just the other problem too is like when you start doing that and the offense becomes a little predictable, you're taking away half the field from him, and you're turning him into like a 2-read quarterback.
Yeah,
it's
like
a college style thing that they're doing with him.
We started to adjust to that because we started shutting down those routes and making sure he couldn't get out and run on those plays. There's a couple passes in the first half. There was one he overthrew his wide receiver so bad he still overthrew our safety that could have intercepted it if he didn't overthrow him even that bad.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Packers secondary was there all day. They were right there. They didn't make anything really that easy.
I don't know if they should be as excited as they are to play us in 2 weeks because we just saw all your goddamn rollout plays, dude.
Dude, I love that. I love we'll see in 2 weeks. This game wasn't a must win.
You mean like we'll see you at Thanksgiving? Like what?
Thank you. That's exactly what I said. The Lions fans said the same thing about Thanksgiving after week 1.
Yeah, and I seen him saying, "Oh well, we didn't have Roma Dunze." Yeah, because we're not dealing with any kind of injuries at all.
Yeah, Don't give me that shit.
Okay.
Jake, what did you think about Jordan Love?
We're seeing a guy come into his own. He has great command of the pass protection, great command of setting up the audibles, calling cans whenever he's seen the 2 high safeties going to the run immediately. He absolutely killed the blitz. Simon did a nice job going over those numbers. I have a tweet that I saw from Dan Orlovsky. I have like 400 tweets that I took screenshots of because I was having such a great time on Sunday night. This one was a really good one. Jordan Love has thrown as many touchdowns this season, 22, as he has sacks and interceptions combined. It's hard to play more efficiently than this.
You know what's funny? I saw the same tweet, and I went and wrote down a whole bunch of quarterbacks.
So I'll let you get into that. The last thing I'm going to say is, if you don't think this guy, and I'm strictly talking to just Packers fans, I don't care about what other people think. If you rep the G Monday through Friday, Saturday you get all excited. You usually wear Badgers on Saturday, and you get to Sunday and you put all your stuff on. You get excited for the game, and you don't think that Jordan Love is a franchise quarterback and one of the top 10 best quarterbacks in this league. Just stop watching football. I'm serious. Just stop watching football because this guy is quite clearly top 10.
Easily.
Please.
I think you could almost argue top 5 at this point.
The only other
right now, yes.
Right now, spoiler alert, we're going to get into that in the preview because I'm going to say something. Okay. Jake said as many touchdowns as sacks and interceptions combined. Jordan Love has 22 touchdowns. He's been sacked 18 times and has 4 interceptions. Feel really bad for Raiders fans when I say this, but Geno Smith has 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. He's been sacked 49 times.
Jesus Christ.
Scott said, I think he's playing better than Hurts. He absolutely is.
Jalen Hurts sucks.
Jalen Hurts had as many interceptions last night as Jordan Love has this entire season. And
that interception turnover. It was our fumble play.
Double turnover.
Did you see the Austin Wink version of that shit? It was funny.
They didn't know what was going on, dude. They broke it.
Cam Ward has 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 49 sacks. Drake May has 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and has been sacked 40 times.
He's been sacked 40 times?
40.
He's having a really good year, too.
Justin Herbert, this was before last night, 21 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 38 sacks.
I feel bad. He has one of the most injured offensive lines right now, too.
Trevor Lawrence, 18 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 32 sacks. Josh Allen, 22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 31 sacks.
Damn.
Lamar Jackson, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 29 sacks. For a guy who's played like half the season. Patrick Mahomes, 22, 10, 29. Tua, 18, 14, 26. Baker Mayfield, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks, 24 sacks. Dak Prescott, like we kind of came into the show talking about, we've been pretty credit heavy towards Dak Prescott. 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 22 sacks. Caleb Williams, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 20 sacks. Sam Darnold, 22 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He's got almost 3 times as many interceptions as Jordan Love, has been sacked 17 times. So he's been sacked less than Jordan Love. And then Bo Nix, who the Packers are playing coming up next week, 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and 16 sacks. The only other person who is doing better than Jordan Love in this aspect is Matthew Stafford, who has 35 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and has been sacked 17 times.
Yeah. The Rams are seriously good.
They're good.
As far as Jordan Love goes, obviously we know the interception was bad. Honestly, I think he was dialed in even before he threw that interception and after. The Packers, outside of that interception, obviously, and the penalty that backed them into the 3rd and 19, or the sack that backed them into 3rd and 19, that they were marching down the field on. Steve said playing at Utah State helped Love. Had to play from a muddy pocket. I mean, that's plausible. Other than that, this was the 3rd time in the last 4 games that Jordan Love has had a passing grade over 90. He had a 99.7 grade when blitzed. Again, this is PFF, so take it with a grain of salt, but this is literally out of 100.
Yeah,
when blitzed, his grade is 99.7.
I mean, overall, Jordan Love is the 2nd highest rated quarterback on PFF this season right now.
No, Scott, that's not true. Golden was way behind.
Yeah, Golden was deeper.
Yeah, he was quite deeper.
Yeah,
he was sitting down, and Golden was actually sitting down in the zone in a hole, and Love needed to throw the ball over the defender,
which would have been a really tough throw. But again, 3rd and 19, like kind of Simon said, like you just kind of lay the ball out there, and if it gets picked on a 3rd and 19, like it is what it is.
At least he didn't pull a Kirk Cousins and then throw it short.
On a 4th down. Yeah. And you guys covered it as well, doing a great job with reading the pre-snap and changing calls when necessary. Last thing that I want to say, people are going to say it takes no skill to throw a deep ball, and I couldn't disagree more. It takes skill to put that much touch on the ball and to put it in a place where you can let your receivers, like a guy like Christian Watson and Bo Melton, go get the ball. Like Brian said, you're kind of nitpicking a little bit if you're saying, he needs to put the Bo Melton ball in just a little bit of a better spot. But I mean, if you're not having things where it's like he needs to do this better and you're having to nitpick, I think that's a mark of a good player. So, Matthew, welcome back. We're going to get into the game against Denver right now. So let's start with the defense. And Simon, I'm going to go to you first, just because I want to bring in those plays about with Javon Bullard, like I was talking about before, or the play, I shouldn't say plays, with Javon Bullard. So this is Javon Bullard's closing speed against Caleb Williams last week.
Golly.
That's not sped up. That's real time.
I love that he smoked him too.
Yeah.
So Javon Bullard is going to retreat to about the 40-yard line and run to the other 40-yard line in about 2 seconds.
He covers so much ground.
and it's equally as ridiculous when you watch it from the other angle. So you're going to have to wait till he rolls out to see where Bullard comes from, but
being held,
it's crazy watching it.
Yeah, Bullard's been absolutely filthy this year.
Caleb Williams had about a half a second to try to figure out what he was going to do with the ball.
Yeah.
So that is awesome stuff from Javon Bullard. Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers defense against the Broncos?
Yeah, I feel like the game plan is going to be – I like Bo Nix a little bit. I think the game plan is going to be very similar. try to stop the run. RJ Harvey has looked pretty good the last few weeks. Force them in long to go pass situations, and I feel like they've struggled to convert those. Bo Nix has one of the lowest. I just forgot what I was talking about. The yards per pass attempt, air yards per pass attempt. Excuse me. And then try to take an early lead on them. I like Nix a lot. I don't feel like right now where he's at or whatever, he can will his team down like 2 or 3 scores. I think he's still young, and I think the Broncos offensive line is probably one of the better ones in the league, and Bo Nix doesn't take a ton of sacks. But I think he's willing to put some risky balls at play, and I think that'll provide our secondary with a couple opportunities to create some turnovers. I think he kind of an underrated runner a little bit. He has the ability to scramble, so just kind of not allowing him to get up the field. Just keep your contain, keep your rushing lanes. I think that's kind of all I got.
Bryant, what are you looking for from the defense?
Yeah, Simon covered a lot of it. With Bo Nix, he doesn't take sacks. He's only the least sack quarterback in the league. But he will make mistakes. I feel like if Green Bay can make it confusing, bring some exotic looks, which we did a really good job against Chicago, I feel like he'll make a couple mistakes. We just kind of got to muddy things for him and make him process just that extra tick. And I think he could get into a little bit of trouble. They do run the ball well, but Dobbins was their better running back. Harvey's looked okay the last 2 games, but all in all in the season, he's still averaging like 3.9 yards per carry. So the other person we need to watch out with run the ball is Nix. Caleb Williams hurt us a little bit with that. Nix does run the ball very well. But they are -3 in the turnover battle. So I think that if we get those opportunities and we can take advantage of those opportunities, it's going to be hugely important. If that opportunity comes your way, you need to make the play against this team because this is a very good Denver team. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC for a reason. They're 11-2. They started a 1-3 or 1-2, so they've won 10 straight games in a row.
Yeah. Jake, what are you looking for from the Packers defense?
So I was going to say Broncos are due. They're on a 10-game win streak. Over their last 5 weeks, though, they've only won those games by a combined 17 points, and 7 of that came last week. So they're winning a lot of close games. Packers have 4 straight W's. They're plus 38 in those 4 wins. So you're already doubling them in not even half the wins. So Packers offense obviously a lot more explosive than Denver's. Denver's rush attack is very good. It allows you to, their defense is obviously good too. We're going to talk about that next. But their offense, they run the ball. They're kind of an old school throwback team where you can win with a guy like Nix if he doesn't turn the ball over, which he does every once in a while. But they have 2 of the best at certain positions, left tackle and right guard, in terms of old linemen in the entire league. Shout out to Quinn Mertz, UW Whitewater grad, coming from a small D3 school in Wisconsin and becoming an NFL superstar. He's an absolute stud out there. They do have a nice collection in the running back room when they're fully healthy. I do like McLaughlin as a third running back. He's pretty good. He catches the ball a ton for them as well. Overall, the Broncos offense averages 121.8 rush yards per game. That's 14th in the NFL. They move up to 9th in the NFL when you go just rush yards at home at 133.5. So they like running the ball at home. The Packers rush defense allows 101.4 per game. That's 9th overall. On the road, they're 13th at 110.2. So obviously, everybody's going to try to run the ball on Green Bay because they don't want Micah Parsons to get after your quarterback, and they don't want our offense, which can score very quickly, to be on the field as much. So gotta stop the run, and you gotta guard that guy number 14 because he is pretty much the only wide receiver that I worry about on that roster.
So with that, my notes also looking at it, key on the run. Last week we talked about it already, the snap count between Rashawn Gary playing 40 snaps and Kingsley Enagbare playing 39 snaps. We've also given credit where it's due to Kingsley Enagbare. He was, in my mind, a coming into the season, potentially a surprise cut candidate. It wasn't, a super staunch opinion that I had, but I I thought it was one where if they were looking to give some of these other guys playing time, and obviously not knowing, the injuries that some of these guys, the younger ones especially, are going to have, and including Lucas Van Ness. But that said, looking at Rashawn Gary and Kingsley Enagbari's run stop numbers, Kingsley Enagbari has gotten better by about 1%. About 1% better. You look at his run stop rate. He's got 21 run stops in 203 run defensive plays last year. That's a 10.3% rate. He has 15 so far this year through 132 run defensive snaps. That's an 11.4% rate. So he's improved, but it's a smidge. So the eye test is better there, but he's improved a smidge. Looking at Rashawn Gary's run stop percentage last season was 14%, and this year it's 12%. So Rashawn Gary has gotten 2% worse, and Kingsley Enagbari has gotten 1% better, but even still, Rashawn Gary is still the better run defender looking at the numbers. So I'm kind of with you guys. I'm at a loss with what's going on with Rashawn Gary. I don't think that he's hurt. I don't know that he's just not playing as well, if he's getting more attention, which shouldn't be the case because everybody's watching Micah Parsons, or if they just kind of need to change how they use him, like Simon said, maybe slim him down in the offseason and try to make him faster. I'm a little bit at a loss. But like I said, key on the run, because when we get to talking about Bo Nix in some of these later sections that I have, I don't think that he's necessarily going to beat you through the air. Okay. So not Simon. Bryant, anything you want to say about special teams?
Yeah, there's they have a dangerous returner in Marvin Mims. He housed a 70-yard punt return. He's been okay on kicks, so we just need to be careful with that. McManus should be very familiar with kicking in Denver. He kicked there for years. The ball will travel further, so he does need to get out there, and they need to kind of understand how hard he needs to kick it to not be given a bunch of touchbacks. But yeah, just make sure he does his pregame warm-ups. He should be familiar with the surroundings. So, just be smart with your punts, and then, good coverage.
Yeah. All right, Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers' offense against the Broncos' defense?
I think a lot of it starts up front. They have a pretty good pair of edge rushers. Nick Benito, who's been good this year, and I think just all over they're willing to send the blitz. So it has to be another week where offensive line and Jordan Love are sharp up front, which I don't have any doubts in. Zach Tom's going to do his thing, but I think Bryant, I don't know if you want to hop in here and talk about Walker struggling a little bit, because I feel like kind of in the same boat with you. Rasheed Walker's kind of struggled a little bit last few weeks, and I don't know if it's necessarily time that we can put in Jordan Morgan, but if Rasheed Walker wants that contract next year, which he'll get a contract somewhere, if he wants a $20+ million contract next year, I think he has to step up his game a little bit. And if he kind of plays himself on, not necessarily on the bench, or maybe in a rotation where we kind of have a little bit of a battle between Jordan Morgan and Rasheed Walker, then it's not going to look fairly upon him. And I like what the offense has kind of done over the last 4 weeks with the play calling and kind of just mixing it up and keep the defenses guessing. I think it's led to some really, really good drives throughout the games, and it has really helped the offense produce. Just keep up the good mix of play calling, and that's kind of all I got.
Bryant, what are you looking for from the Packers offense?
Yeah, so, Denver is the best in the league at getting after the quarterback, so we're just going to need to be prepared for that. They have, we're just going to have to get the ball out quick, probably run the ball effectively. They have 11 or more players. Wait 1 second. Oh, they have 11 more sacks. Sorry, I was having trouble with my notes. Than any other team in the league. And 4 players with at least sacks. And then, interestingly enough, They have 16 players on their team that have at least been accredited for at least a half a sack. So 16 players have been involved in a sack for that team. They're going to come from all over the place. In fact, one of their cornerbacks has 4 of them. They have the second best rush defense as well, allowing only 3.7 yards per carry. Just a really, a really solid team. They're only, they allow less than a 60% completion percentage in passing. Only giving up 13 touchdowns on the season through the passing. It's just going to be a difficult game. We're going to have our defense really show up and keep this a low-scoring game, because I don't think we're going to go crazy by any stretch of the imaginations, but we just need to really limit the mistakes and play a clean game and take advantage of the points. This will be the game where if it's 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 from the 25, kick the field goal. We need the points this game. I know we've been very good in 3rd and 4th down, but this is the type of game we need the points, because this defense is no joke.
I agree. Jake, what are you looking for from the Packers offense?
Yeah, so I'm surprised nobody said it, but I wrote this down in my notes. This could be a Super Bowl preview. You got the number 2 seed in the NFC right now versus number 1 seed in the AFC. And my first couple of sentences are going to sound pretty familiar to Bryant's, but Broncos are the best at getting after the quarterback. 55 sacks coming into this one for a total loss of 340 yards, and they only allow 3.7 yards per carry, one of the best in the NFL. I was like, Jesus Christ, read my whole section, you son of a bitch. But they're also pretty penalized. They're very aggressive.
I left that on the bone. I was about to say it before you said it. I was going to say, I didn't say they're very penalized.
They're a highly penalized team. A lot of it goes over to their other corner opposite PS2, Riley Moss. People pick on him because you're not going to throw at one of the best corners, guy who literally just won Defensive Player of the Year. So you go to the other side. The other guy that you can probably attack on this defense is Brandon Jones. He's the free safety. He is a pretty good player, but he's probably the weakest link on this defense. When you're going through everything and you're trying to find a weakness, because that's what LaFleur and Jordan Love and the wide receivers are going to try to do. They got to try to go after a guy like Brandon Jones and Riley Moss. LaFleur's going to have his work cut out for him trying to scheme up Watson over there, because I think that's what makes PS2 Patrick Surtain, if people aren't aware. That's what makes Patrick Surtain so good, is he will go with the receiver. He will follow him everywhere. Slot, outside, it doesn't matter. So when he's right, he can absolutely negate your best wide receiver. So it's going to be a big game for Christian Watson. But second game back for Jaden Reed could be a big game for him. This could be the game, as you guys were talking earlier, that Romeo Doubs comes back to life.
Yeah. Steve, don't get too far ahead. Don't get there. I know we're on the offense, but
dude,
keep it in the pocket. Looking at the Packers offense as far as the passing game distribution goes, I want Jordan Love to keep spreading the ball around. I get that some guys are banged up, but Jordan Love is still doing great at spreading the ball around to whoever is on the field, even if it is our 5th best cornerback. And just looking at it, I do like that the Packers are spreading the ball, especially downfield, and not just to the different players that are involved. So, Steve, coming back to what I said before, looking at 20-plus yard passes versus behind the line of scrimmage passes. If you go back to the Pittsburgh game, there was only 3 20-plus yard passes and 10 behind the line of scrimmage. But it was also working that game. So they kept going back to it. The game after that is Carolina. 5 20-plus yard throws, which is fine. 7 behind the line of scrimmage. It was not working that day, and they kept doing it. That's when I started to get pissed. Then you go to Philly the following week. Another 3-point loss and another low-scoring game. 4 20-plus yard balls, 7 behind the line of scrimmage again. Those 2 games were the games where it's like, okay, is Matt LaFleur holding Jordan Love back? Then we move on, and we get to the Giants game. 5 20-plus yard throws, 0 behind the line of scrimmage. Again, I don't need that number to be 0, but it's lower, and the 20-plus are higher. Jordan Love's numbers look way better. The Minnesota game is kind of an outlier because Jordan Love was banged up. That's a game we were playing super conservative, like a preseason style game, because Jordan Love's shoulder was banged up. So there was 1 20-plus yard throw and 1 behind the line of scrimmage throw. Then getting to Detroit on Thanksgiving, 7 20-plus yard throws, 1 behind the line of scrimmage. Then against the Bears, 7 20-plus yard throws, 3 behind the line of scrimmage. Matt LaFleur is letting Jordan Love sling that thing, and it's not a secret that that's a strong correlation with Jordan Love playing better looking better, grading better, putting up better numbers. It shouldn't be a secret that is a big part of why.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the red zone, Green Bay, number 2 in the NFL at 68%. I would love it if they could increase that by 1% this week by getting over that. But Denver does have the number 1 red zone defense at only 40% touchdowns allowed in the red zone. So I'd be happy if the Packers could get even 2 for 3, even 2 for 4, because that would still be better than what Denver allows. I understand that would be lower than what they've currently scored, but even if they could get like a 3 out of 5, I mean, if they get 5 red zone opportunities and they score 3 touchdowns and get 2 field goals, talking 27 points,
take that.
That's magic number. So I'm okay with that.
W.
Dude, if you get 5 red zone trips, you're moving the ball against a really good defense. I will be very happy.
Exactly. Okay. Jumping in really quick with the coaching aspects of the game. This is what I was just saying. Matt LaFleur, please don't go conservative on me. Let's finish the season strong. I think Minnesota, when we get to week 18, depending on how the seeding and stuff shakes out, can be taken a little bit softly. But between Denver, Chicago, and Baltimore, please don't go soft on. Jeff Hafley, key on the run. Bo Nix, throwing a lot isn't really how the Broncos win. These 3 guys talked about keying on the run. This is what they do in the run game. This is how they want to build their game. Last week, Bo Nix threw the ball 38 times. He had 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 38 throws, nothing to show for it except for yards. I'll give you all the yards you want if it doesn't result in points. I don't give a shit how many yards you rack up.
He completed 31 of them too. And I don't even think he broke 220 passing yards total.
It was like 212.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The week before that, at Washington, he had 45 passing attempts. He had 1 touchdown and 1 interception. The week before that, versus Kansas City, he had 37 passing attempts, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. There's a lot of empty stats there. With Bo Nix is throwing the ball a lot, I'm not super worried about it. So, Steve said those corners in the 7 passes behind the line of scrimmage, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, J.C. Horn, takeaway, don't do this passes at the line of scrimmage with PS2. Just don't. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care who the defense is. Jordan Love's a good quarterback down the field. It's something that Bryant harped on a lot this season of stop trying to beat your opponent at what they're bad at and just do what you're good at. That's how I feel about Jordan Love and moving the ball downfield. Okay. Let's go into some X factors. Actually, sorry. Injuries and weather first. Bryant, injury designations to watch for.
Well, to see, I didn't hear of anything coming out of the game, so hopefully that's good. Other than, Wicks and Golden still being kind of banged up, so we'll have to watch them too. We'll have to see people, how Bullard and stuff came out of the game, and Nate Hobbs. But then but ones that didn't play that we're watching, you have Marshawn Lloyd, who this will be his second full week of practice, so we'll see if he's, getting dialed up. And I will say I'm wondering if they threw Emmanuel Wilson out there for a kick return or two to see what he can bring to the team and see if they can possibly move on from someone else, because they're going to have to make a decision. LVN, I still don't, they're going to want him to practice at least for a week before he comes back, but you never know. Savion Williams would be nice to get back on the field. And then, Oliver and Cox Jr. are both defensive ends. We'll see. I doubt we'll see either of them this week, but they'll practice.
I think they're just going to shut down Oliver.
I think they're letting him practice for 3 weeks, and then they're going to shut him down. That would be my guess. Cox Jr. we'll see, but if they bring Cox Jr. back, they're going to have to cut somebody, and Cox Jr. does not play special teams, which is not good. And then for Denver, there's not much to talk about. We can talk about they lost Dobbins, but other than that, not too many injuries. I'll have to see what they, I didn't see anything too big coming out of their game against the Raiders, so we'll just kind of have to keep an eye on the report tomorrow.
Yeah. Jake, what's the weather going to be like? Steve tried to beat you to the punch a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm actually going to pass this one over to Steve. Steve says 56 and sunny in Denver. All joking aside, Steve, stop trying to take my job, you goddamn son of a bitch. Outside of that, I wrote down a couple
germs.
I'm just kidding, Steve. I know you. Sorry, I had to say that. So I wrote down 62 degrees at intervals of clouds and sunshine, but then I took the when the sun goes down report as well, because this game's going to be a 3:25 kickoff. Low around 40 degrees, going to real feel around 29 degrees. So warmer than it is here, I will say that. We're going to have some shitty weather coming in tonight as well. So
We just got all the snow today in North Dakota.
Oh,
But I will say that's a Pacific time zone or Mountain time zone or whatever. So they'll be starting at 2:35 their time. So they probably won't reach the evening too much in that game.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Starting in the 50s will be awesome football weather. It's going to get real miserable as the game goes on, as it gets colder. Okay, X Factors. Simon, give me your X Factor.
I have the defensive line. I think it'll be interesting with the two guys that we picked up and then kind of how everyone else is not playing the best that they could. It'll be interesting to see how they rotate guys and which guys are inactive or active or how they kind of handle that. Can they help? I'm looking for shorter offensive drives. I think the 17, or like even 10 plus play drives, just it gets them so gassed, and then they just end up getting gassed for 5, 6 yard runs at a time. So I'm hoping a little bit of push up in the interior defensive line will help.
Yeah, and we're playing at altitude this week, so that's you don't want to be. You're going to gas out a lot quicker.
Yep.
Bryant, who's your X Factor?
Yeah, mine's Jordan Love. I talked a lot about his ability to change or kind of diagnose the plays at the line of scrimmage, see what's going on. I talked about how the Denver's had 16 players account for at least a half a sack. Jordan Love's going to be huge in this game, identifying, calling out, the blitzers and adjusting protection and everything. Don't be surprised if we see Chris Brooks play a lot more this game than probably Emmanuel Wilson. I think he probably should outsnap Emmanuel Wilson if we're going to throw the ball this game. So, yeah, my X factor is Jordan Love. He just needs to put each play in the best position to make a big play and move the ball and get some points.
Yeah. Jake, who is your X factor?
I cheated a little bit. I have 3 people. I have the Packers trio Cooks, Jordan Love, Christian Watson, and Josh Jacobs. Those are the 3 big names on offense. Jordan Love, graded as the second best quarterback on PFF. Over his last 5 games, has 957 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, is averaging a 100.6 rating. Christian Watson has an 87 grade. He's the 5th best wide receiver on PFF right now. His last 5 games, 19 receptions, 309 yards, 5 touchdowns. And Josh Jacobs is the 4th graded running back. So we have 3 guys that are top 5 at their position, and they show up when we need them the most. Jacobs is averaging 16.4 attempts per game. Remember, he left that Giants game pretty early, so it's going to hurt his numbers, but he's still averaging 4.5 yards a carry. He has 3 touchdowns and 370 yards. So those 3 guys are going to have to show up. We're going to have to get some tough yards with Jacobs in the running game. We're going to have to keep pushing the ball down the field. Do not be scared to push the ball down the field, please.
Couldn't agree more. I went with Zane Anderson, Tyron Hopper, Kaitan Oladipo, and Evan Williams, who is currently number 2 in special teams Pro Bowl rankings, and the rest of Green Bay's special teams coverage players to keep Marvin Mims under wraps. He returned a kick for a touchdown last week. That was part of how Denver scored 24 points. Again, I brought up the empty numbers of Bo Nix. They won because their running game and a special teams touchdown. So kick coverage for me is an X factor here.
Yeah, field position will be big in this game.
Absolutely. Okay. Simon, give me your score prediction from the head.
Do it, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I have us losing this game. 20-17 Broncos.
You're dead to me.
I have us winning this game 20-17.
Okay. Back on track.
I have the same margin of victory, but more points. I have 27-24.
27-24. Okay. I have 24-20. Green Bay.
All right. Simon from the heart.
27-17 Packers.
All right. Bryant.
27-21 Packers.
All right. I again have the same margin of victory as Simon this time. I have 30-20.
Okay. I have 29-16 because why not?
Random as hell. Scott said 28-17. I would be happy with that. Jumping in. All right. Let's do some Simon Says. Bryant, how many you got this week?
I got, 2 in the bonus.
2 in the bonus. Okay. All right. Start on offense.
Right, I'm going to read off some numbers for you, which will not make you feel good, okay?
Okay.
But Green Bay is 1-7 in their history going to Denver.
Yep.
Denver's 7, but Denver's 0-7 at Lambeau. So these teams don't like to beat each other at home.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were 7-0 in Green Bay.
This was the one. So they've played 8 games in Denver. This is my prediction. The Packers offense, for the first time in team history, scores at least 20 points in Denver. They have never scored 20 points on offense in Denver.
Wow.
That is so good. I'm proud of you. That was good. Nicely done.
20 points?
The last win we have there, I'm sure, the only win we have there, I'm sure you guys all remember the play.
Yeah.
82 yards.
Overtime.
Touchdown. Yeah.
Do you remember what the first? So that was an 82-yard touchdown, Jennings. Do you remember what the first touchdown of the game was? 79-yarder to James Jones.
James Jones.
Oh. You were telling me to go on the Wayback Machine, man. That was a long time ago.
But yeah, we have never, and actually over those 8 games, our average point scored is 12.5 in Denver.
Damn. All right, that's a good one. Got some numbers behind it. I like it. Jake, you got one for offense?
Sorry, my bonus one will be McManus walks him off, and that's how we get to 20 points.
Oh, I like that one. I like that.
Dude, you're on one today. Nicely done. So I went just nuts. 200 rush yards for the offense.
Damn.
No. There's zero chance of that.
Never, bro. We lost to the Browns.
No.
That was like 12 weeks ago.
Don't care. We still happened.
All right.
I just don't think Matt LaFleur's game plan is that.
Yeah. Mine has numbers behind it like Bryant's did. So mine is that Jordan Love has his 4th PFF of 90-plus grade in the last 5 weeks, firmly putting him into second place in the MVP race. I don't think he's going to pass up Matt Stafford after this game, but I think it firmly puts him in second place, puts him ahead of Drake May. Looking at the expected completion percentage versus actual, Jordan Love is currently 4th in the NFL. His expected completion percentage is 62.9. His actual is 67.1, so he has a plus 4.2% plus minus on his completion percentage. Number 1 currently is Drake May. Number 2 is Dak Prescott. Number 3 is Sam Darnold. And number 4 is Jordan Love. Simon, you want to throw for offense?
Yes. Jaden Reed, touchdown of over 50 yards. I think there was a couple times versus Chicago where he had an opportunity to take a long pass, and I think he's going to get more looks this week. I like him taking a long touchdown pass.
I think if he can get to that weak safety that you guys were talking about, that's possible. Steve said in 8 career games versus Denver, Josh Jacobs has 4 100-yard games and 9 touchdowns.
Huh.
All right.
That's pretty good. I'll take that.
Yeah,
all right, Brian, you got one for defense?
Now you son of a bitch, huh?
Yeah, my defense one is...
Oh, now you like Steve.
I love Steve.
Just not Steve the weatherman.
Yeah, I'm the weatherman.
So my defense one is no numbers really behind it. I just put the Packers finish with more sacks than Denver.
I like it. I like it.
These are, that's a path to victory right there.
Huh?
Jake?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't try very hard on my defensive one, but I put Parson gets a holding penalty.
That would be bold based on what's happening.
Yeah. Right?
That has literally never happened for Micah Parsons in a Packers uniform.
Right? That's crazy. First time for everything.
Did you know he already has the record for the most pressures in the season by the Packers player at 79? He just keeps adding to it.
Yep. So he's just going to be increasing an unbreakable record at this point.
Yeah.
But he's going to break it himself, I guess. But my one on defense is that Bo Nix has 2 interceptions. He's done this twice this season, both of them at home. Week 1 against Tennessee, and then 3 games ago against the Raiders.
I do like that. I think he does put up some risky
balls.
I wasn't going to say that.
Well, you were thinking it.
Yes, I was. I was trying to find an alternative way to say it.
Throws.
Simon, you got one for defense?
Packers hold the Broncos at under 200 yards of offense.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That one. Scott said Parsons gets a strip sack.
I hope so.
I've been calling for weeks that we get our first defensive touchdown. That'd be another way. Like that's the type of way you win this game, right?
Yep.
Nobody said Matthew Golden touchdown this week. It's totally happening now.
We will be scoreboard watching this game too. So because the Bears play at noon.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think they're underestimating the Browns a little bit. Like
I hope Shedeur Sanders gets a win. I would laugh so hard.
He
looked pretty good last week. Yeah. He looks pretty good.
Balling, dude.
Yeah, I think they're underestimating Cleveland a little bit.
Come on, I want Garrett to break the record against them. I want.
Oh yeah, is he? What is he?
He would need 4 sacks to break the record against them.
Oh, 3. Is it?
He would need 4. He didn't get one last week.
He did. He would need 3. He's at 20.
3. Okay. No. Well, hey, very possible with that guy because that guy's insane.
Yeah, he's so good.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for hopping in. We appreciate everybody sticking around and watching the whole show and all the comments. Obviously, we will be back again next Tuesday to recap the Packers and Broncos and then preview the Packers and Bears again. They play twice in 3 weeks, so we'll have another Packers-Bears preview next week. Other than that, obviously, go Pack Go, and check Jake and I out tomorrow to talk about Badgers and Bucks basketball. So we'll see you guys again next Tuesday. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Go Pack.
Thanks, Scott.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.